And
Bob's your uncle.
I used that recently.
The Bob's your uncle?
Yeah. I think Kristen's like, I don't even know what that means. I'm like, yeah, neither do I.
Nobody knows. It's a British thing.
Yeah. Is that what it is? The origins?
I'm pretty sure.
Honestly, you saying it is the first time I'd ever heard it in my life. So, fuck it. I'll just write it on my Clone Wars notes.
Son of a bitch.
You all right over there?
No.
Hello! Ooh, you should do the intro. All right. Why won't this thing stay
That's what she said?
up? Yes, indeed it is. All right, we got a few people in. We're about to start, guys. We just got to, this is the pre-show.
They know. They know by now.
You never know. There could be new people in the chat. People who just see like the tag NFL and playoffs and
Tom said, way to go, Eagles. So
yes.
just acknowledging the fact.
All right. So we got the chat up. Got the notes. Got my pen. Got my beer. I think we're, you right there?
No, look at it. It's like sagging like an old man's dick.
Well, first of all, I think you're. Never mind.
Think my
Yeah,
what?
You'll figure it out.
Should I be like this? Is that what I did the last time? No, because then I was pissed because I couldn't see the fucking thing. Here we go again. Week 2 of Dave versus the fucking thing.
Is it because we had to undo everything for the holiday
No,
special?
it was doing that shit before. It had nothing to do with the holiday special. Although I'd love to blame the holiday special for some shit like that. No, it's this thing.
Maybe when we do the studio redesign, we get some stronger arms
Get
for the microphones.
Get Rob in here. Stronger arms.
Yes, yes. So just have him hold our mics for us.
Yes. Maybe like an exercise for him.
A test of endurance.
That's right. Or wait till Festivus. Why?
It was here.
Oh. It's supposed to be dicking around with this thing.
Yes. Just waiting for you, Dave. All right. Now, Tom, before we get started, you can see Vader has his new gear again. Any cowboy love will immediately get that removed. So that's all I got to say about that. Bear fan losing his shit. No, I did not.
Yes, I did.
And I also refused to watch the cowboy break his ankle or whatever.
Oh,
apparently it was pretty gruesome.
We'll talk about that.
All right.
We will definitely talk about that.
So are we ready to roll?
Let me open up the notes and then I will say yes.
All right.
And I also have to stop this from sleeping. What just happened?
Sounded like you were playing a video.
I wasn't. The phone didn't ring. Quiet. Like what just happened? Am I having a stroke? I need to do this one.
As you can see, I am fully ready.
As am I.
Dave, on the other hand, is dicking around with his phone. We're waiting for him before we actually start.
There we go. Now I won't go to sleep.
All right. Are you good? Are you okay?
No. Oh, okay? No. I'm good, though.
If we have time at the end, maybe we'll pull up that Bear fan losing his shit live and watch it.
I think it's in my... I have it on my text string.
I can pull it up on my iPad. What's the official title of it? Give me a good searchable YouTube title, and maybe we'll do it at the end. All right, we
probably
good?
Bears fan losing his shit's probably as good as any.
Yeah.
Although that'll have too many hits.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna say 05 is when we're gonna start. So 1805.
That's in 2 minutes.
1 minute according to that.
That lies.
You saying an iPhone isn't accurate? An old iPhone?
No.
That has a shit battery? All right, are we good?
Yeah.
All right. 30 seconds of silence, and then we're rolling right into it. What's up, sports fans, and welcome back to the Cantina. This is the Sidebar Cantina Sports Podcast. I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the
the goalpost to your Cody Parkey.
Ooh, that's good. Very good.
Too soon? Is it too soon?
Sorry, Bears fans. Womp womp. So, yeah, we got a lot of football to talk in a short period of time. We're going to try to wrap this up in 30, 40-ish minutes. So, because we got another podcast to record after this. So let's jump right into it. So this week is playoffs, right? Playoffs. So do we want to jump right into the championship game tonight?
Tonight. So when are we taping? This is Monday the 7th. So yeah, the championship game's tonight. I really could give a shit about this game, honestly. I mean, I'll have it on because I'm a football fan and I'm a college football fan. So I will have it on. But honestly, I'm not that excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about it.
All right. So do you have a prediction?
Or
do you want to hear mine first?
Let's hear yours first.
All right, I'm curious. My uneducated, zero research, no knowledge of either team prediction. I'm going to say Alabama wins it tonight, 34-24.
That low scoring, huh?
You think that's low scoring?
So what? Let's look at the. Let's see what the over-under is.
All right, well, you heard it here first. Alabama, 34-24. And if this comes to pass, you have to admit that I am God.
No.
All right, fair enough.
Pick something else.
That I got really lucky.
I'll give you that one, yes. Well, I mean, let's face it. Picking Alabama to win is not a huge stretch.
Right.
I mean, historically, Alabama has been the victor in these games, except for the 1 year that they won the national championship. So I want to see the over-under. Fuck.
You know what? This is something he would have had ready before we started the
show. Listen to me. Like, I am just happy to be here, honestly. So, okay, championship odds. I bet you somebody in the chat already has this up.
Yeah.
Here we go. Blah, blah, blah,
well,
blah.
While you're looking for that, Solsky is predicting Alabama 55, Clemson 28. So he's going with a big score.
All right. Well, it's much closer than that. Both those predictions would admit. And honestly, it's a little bit further spread. Personally, I think it's going to be a close game. Mm-hmm. I think Alabama is going to win.
Yeah.
Just because I think they're going to get the better Clemson. Nick Saban is just going to pull out all the stops. I mean, you have two really, really good college football teams, but I just think Alabama is the better team this year. Clemson just isn't as strong as they were the year they won national championship. And let's face it, they had to get a little bit lucky in that national championship game. So I'm going with Alabama. I still didn't get the over-under. I just got the spread from this. But do you know what the over-under is? Like, do you know what
I know what the spread is.
Okay. Do you know what? No, I'm saying, do you know what over-under means?
No.
So when people say, oh, I'm going to bet the over.
Oh, over the spread or under the spread?
No. So it has nothing to do with the spread. The over-under, the over-under is basically the combination of the scores, whether it'll be underneath that or above it. So they're making a prediction about what the total score is going to be. Gotcha. And they say, if you bet the over, that means that I'm betting that they're going to go over whatever the predicted score is. So right now, what's the date on this? I want to check. This was 2 hours ago. And it would appear that the Alabama is a 5.5 point favorite, which is closer than I thought it was going to be. So I mean, when you're looking at odds and you're looking at something like that, like if they're giving up a touchdown, over a touchdown, that's usually like a sure bet to pick, one person or another. Like when you start talking about field goals or less than a touchdown, then they're saying that the teams are more evenly matched. Like, for example, the Saints over under, or the Saints spread for the Eagles was initially came out as 9 and it's down to 8. So it'll probably settle somewhere around 7, like within a touchdown, which honestly,
That's pretty damn good.
Considering how bad they got blown out the last time.
Yeah.
I think they're looking at it as, they're looking at a completely different Eagles team.
Yeah,
but
which it kind of is.
Yeah, and we'll get there.
Yeah, Isaac Sipes in the chat. I thought he wasn't going to make it tonight.
All right, the latest over under was 57. So I'm thinking that it's going to be a like a 41-38 game. So that's much higher than that 57.
And 34 plus 24 is 58. So I was pretty goddamn close.
There you go.
And that was with no prior knowledge whatsoever.
So you're right at the line. I just think it's going to be higher scoring.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a slugfest, and with Alabama coming out on top. So we're both picking Alabama. I'm taking the over.
Yeah. And I guess technically I am too. So
yeah, barely.
By 1 point. But if I had to pick over under, I'd go under if it was whatever. Anyway,
regardless, this is how you can see our level of excitement for this. I mean, we're doing it because we have to.
Yeah, Michigan's not in it, so why should I care?
Exactly, Jason. Why should you care if Michigan's not in it?
So, all right, moving on. Are we gonna hop right into?
But let's. I just saw. I came back into the chat and I saw the picked up a little bit. I hate Alabama. I really don't like them. I hate Nick Saban. I hate the Alabama program. I hate the SEC. Like, again, the All Things Dave Hates podcast.
Yes.
I don't like that whole. I guess it's because of their level of dominance, maybe, or maybe it's just I really don't like Nick Saban. I just don't. His arrogance and like his coaching style. He is like he makes fucking what's his nuts up in fucking New England. Belichick. Yeah, I like Belichick more than I like fucking Nick Saban.
Wow,
that's saying something.
That's tall order
as a fucking Eagles fan. So, listen, I would rather Alabama lose this game, and if they do lose, I'll be happy. But in reality, I just don't think they're going to win. If I was betting, then I'd have to bet, and take Alabama.
Sure. All right, moving on to the NFL. So we had 4 playoff games this weekend. This was the wild card round of the NFL playoffs. I've made a couple of quick notes here. Colts 21, Texans 7. I wrote yawn. Like, that was a nothing game. Texans were way outmatched in that game.
I don't know. I was like, you make some yawn comments and some other comments. It was. I think it was if you're looking to see where the Colts are now, as opposed to, if you look at where the Colts are and as much winning as they've done going in a 1-5. I mean, if you watch the game for 5 minutes, that's all they could talk about, how they started off.
It's a good story. I'm not going to deny that. But the game itself, as a competitive matchup on the field, was just kind of.
Yeah, I think they had a game plan against Texas's defense, and it was effective.
Yeah, this is the first time I'd seen the Texans play all year, and
you don't watch them against the Eagles.
I don't think so, but. Like, they look like they didn't belong in the playoffs. Honestly, they look pretty lethargic. They did not show me anything that made me think that they were a playoff team.
To bring it back to a college football thing, Bill O'Brien was the Penn State coach, like right after Joe Paterno resigned.
When that guy fucked all those kids.
Actually, well, the guy fucked all the kids beforehand. I don't know if it's all the kids. I mean, I guess. I mean. I don't think we want to speak in that many generalizations.
Okay.
In this conversation, but Bill O'Brien was the guy to come into a program that was fucked.
Right.
It was absolutely fucked. And quite frankly, I think he was a really good coach for the Penn State program. Mm-hmm. He's been very mediocre as an NFL coach. And I really want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he was a Penn State coach and, brought our program through some trying times. However, I just didn't see it. I didn't see a playoff caliber coach, in that Texans team.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe it'll come with experience,
maybe
the players, the coaches, they just need time. So moving on, the other AFC game that we really probably don't care about is the Chargers beat the Ravens 23-17. That score, that's really deceptive because that game was not nearly as close as that score said. The Ravens
until the end.
Yeah, the Ravens had a couple of quick surges at the end, and they just couldn't get the job done. Like, the Chargers were beating the shit out of them for most of that game. what was it? It was like 23-3 at one point in the fourth quarter, right? And
Well,
then
let's face it. It was. Look at this. Look what happens.
what happens when you get old, Dave? Sorry.
Look, it was a defensive game. It was the Chargers defense played a hell of a lot better than expected.
Yeah.
And it was a field goal game up until, late in the second half. So listen, Philip Rivers this year has really showed that he's ready for this level of competition.
14 years later, and he's finally there.
Look at all the pieces that he's had and hasn't had, and there's always been something in his career where it's been like always they're missing that one piece. And I think right now with the running back core is very good. He has pass catchers, and their defense. Ultimately, defense wins championships.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're in a shootout in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, which that may be happening again this year. We'll
Jesus
see.
Christ. But yeah, it's fun to watch the Chargers right now, and I like Philip Rivers. Yeah, I like him as a quarterback with his unorthodox throwing style, and it's just constant like anger, vehement anger on the field.
You can relate, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Where it just looks like he wants to rip the fucking referee's head off and shit down his neck. Yeah. I love it. And I'm not a Ravens fan. I think Terrell Suggs and that, I think Ray Lewis should have never made the fucking Hall of Fame. The guys, that's a whole other discussion for a whole other time. But, honestly, aside from the only good thing about the Ravens winning that Super Bowl against your 49ers was the fact that it was Flacco, and Flacco's a local kid. He grew up like, I don't know, 10 minutes from your house right here, right down the road. So it was neat for the area to have something like that happen for us. And, but other than that, I really don't like the Ravens.
Yeah.
So.
All right. And then, so we had the Cowboys and the Seahawks in the first NFC game. And I watched the second half of this. I didn't watch the first half, but the second half, solid game. I mean, it was very entertaining. And I even texted you towards the end of the game. Like, I can't fucking believe I want to throw up because I'm actually hoping the Cowboys win this game, because I hate the Seahawks that fucking much that I wanted the goddamn motherfucking Dallas Cowboys to win a game, a playoff game, no less.
Never in my life will I ever say those words.
Yeah.
I will always wish for the Cowboys to fucking snap their ankles in half. Every single fucking one of them. Holy shit.
So I refuse to watch the video. Like, I didn't see it live when it happened.
Oh,
and I've seen it all over YouTube, all over Facebook.
I was watching it live up until that happened. And I'm like, I'm done. I got other shit to do.
Yeah.
That was fucking, there's been more gruesome ones that have like this one, like seeing it like really happen, like boom, like gets the hit, and you're looking at the guy on the ground. I'm like, his foot's in a weird, and then they come around, they're showing the replay. Because I don't think they were just showing the replay to see where did the injury happen, and then you see the fucking dude's ankle just go snap, and then you see him fall to the ground, and you look back and his fucking foot's pointed in the wrong goddamn direction. It's like, whoop, whoop, oh my god, oh, I'm done. I'm going to do something else now.
I think I'm gonna be sick just listening to this. Jesus.
Oh, it was fucking horrific. It was.
Yeah, and of course the note I have in here is LOL Janikowski. Fucking Sebastian, 290-pound, fucking probably never did a day of cardio in his life. Janikowski fucking hurts his hamstring on, what was it, a kickoff or a field goal?
It was a field goal.
A field goal. Like, rips his hamstring, and then wouldn't you know it, the game comes down to the end where the Seahawks need 2 scores back to back. They drive down, they get 1 score. They need an onside kick, and he's fucking injured. He can't come out there for one fucking play to try to kick an onside kick.
I think the funniest, I guess, part of all that happening was them showing the video of the place or the punter coming out to attempt field goals. Kicking is a relative word. Like, I think I've seen high school kids, like high school linebackers that have made better kicking movements. This guy kicks a ball for a living. You figure if it's standing in one spot like that, it'd be fucking, it's the same motion.
Yeah.
At some point,
like kicking a stationary ball. Apparently he can't do that. He needs to fucking drop it, a few inches before he can fucking put his foot on it.
Yeah.
So doing these drop kicks and everything else, I mean, it's just so pathetic.
And you don't have a backup kicker on an NFL roster. You don't. So you would think
there's always some special teams guy or there's somebody out there that can fucking put their foot on the ball.
Yeah.
At least do something. The Eagles had that happen 3-4 weeks ago where what's his nuts? Elliott had to come off the field for just for a minute. Like he ended up coming back out, but did he finish that game? I can't remember. But it was one of the tight ends actually came out and was able to fucking, kick some reasonable balls.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is somebody that probably did it in high school or whatever.
Right.
Or is an athlete and fucking can kick a stationary ball.
Yeah. So yeah, you would think that each team would have like one guy, be it your punter or some other fucking random guy who played kicker in high school, like spend an hour every fucking week and just kick some balls and just make sure you still know what the hell you're doing just in case the shit hits the fan. But no, this fucking retard of a punter comes out and kicks he just kicked it to the other team. It's like, here you go. Here's the ball. I'm not even going to try because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, it's not necessarily his fault. No. That's not what he's being paid to do.
No, and that's why I put it more on the team and the coaches.
Yeah, that's Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll and his fucking infinite wisdom. Yeah, fuck that guy.
The coaching genius.
Fuck that guy.
So I just found it rather humorous.
God, I want a rain of fucking like rubber dicks to just fall on him and just collapse him and just bury him like 4 feet high underneath a pile of rubber dicks where he just suffocates with all these rubber dicks in his mouth.
That would be a hell of a way to die. But I found it humorous that it was also Sebastian Janikowski of all fucking people. That big motherfucker.
I agree with you. He's like the John Kruk of the NFL. The guy, John Kruk was a player for the Phillies, and he's famous for, he was a career 300 hitter. He was a really good hitter.
Yeah.
And they talked about he's famous for saying that basically baseball's not a sport. He's not an athlete. And
wow.
Yeah, and he's a professional baseball player, right?
That's great.
And he's like he would eat hot dogs and drink beer before the fucking game. I mean, he was on that 93 Phillies team that was just full of fucking just those types of characters.
Yeah.
Beards, long hair, just scruffy nerf herders all over the place.
Yeah.
And they get to a goddamn World Series with that team. It was just unbelievable. But
that's good shit. So yeah, Seahawks are done. I'm happy about that. Don't want to see the Cowboys go any farther, as I'm sure you don't either. But yeah, next week will be an interesting game, and we'll talk about that when we talk about next week's games. But got one other playoff game to talk about.
Yeah,
your boys. Philadelphia Eagles, 16, Bears 15. My little note in here is Eagles are determined to kill Dave.
Oh God, I wish it wasn't true, but God damn it is.
I'm watching this game and I'm texting Dave throughout, and I can feel the tension on the other side of the phone. Like I'm just like, I know he has just got to be pinging, like heart racing, blood pressure, through the roof.
Listen, I was under no illusions about the team that we were getting ready to play.
Yeah.
Number one defense in the NFL with an offense that was very capable. I'm watching the game and watching Allen Robinson, who was a wide receiver for Penn State. So I know what he's capable of, and he was underutilized in Jacksonville. So he's done well with the Bears. And I'm watching this team going, this is a team that should beat this Eagles team. But,
especially being at home in Chicago.
And then watching, in the first half, fucking Nick Foles throw 2 INTs. The first one was just a fucking good play by the.
Well, yeah, one of them was off of a deflection. Like I didn't even put that one on Foles.
And the last one was just fucking underthrew. Like I think honestly, he was throwing off his back foot, falling back. I think he was. If I were a betting man, I'd say he was trying to throw it out the back of the end zone, or at least get it deep into the end zone, and he didn't have enough on it. Yeah. So, and after all that's going on, I'm sitting there watching this. I'm like, okay, but they're still in it. They're still in it. Like the fucking Eagles defense in that game stepped it the fuck up.
So that defense has been decimated by injuries all fucking season.
So bold predictions by Dave, I guess, but whatever. I think what you're seeing is an Eagles team that the secondary that has been its biggest weakness. You know, you're starting third stringers, guys are on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're starting to realize that they're playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, they're not just playing one game for somebody to come back. Like, this is it. This is them, and this is they're playing. And I think they're finally getting connected to the defense to a point where it actually they're able to do some things.
Yeah.
Now, Maddox, the rookie corner, definitely made some mistakes. You know, bid on some balls. But overall, this secondary that's going into next week against the Saints is not the secondary that Drew Brees threw against for 41 fucking points.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a much different game. And unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, because I'm a Wentz guy, Carson Wentz was playing that game, most likely with a broken back. Like, we've talked about it for weeks.
Yeah.
My contention has been that Wentz has been injured.
Yeah.
And I still contend that through those games, through at least 3 or 4 of those games, he was playing with fucking fractured vertebrae. Just wasn't telling anybody.
And, you know, he may not have been 100% coming back from the injury at the start of the season to begin with.
No. So I think you're looking at a Nick Foles that seems to do extremely well in this type of environment.
Yeah.
Even after throwing 2 picks, he was able to come back and make some really good throws.
Mm-hmm.
Not every throw was great, though. I mean, this Nick Foles didn't not have his best game, and he still managed to pull it off because fucking the defense decided that, like, hey, yeah, we're up against the number 1 defense in the league. Let's show them that we're fucking doing something here.
Yeah.
And they did. Jordan Hicks produced. Jernigan's back on the line. This is a much different Eagles team than we saw during the regular season. And fuck those Bears fans who are like, well, you mean this 9-7 team, you know, coming in here? Like, because they're tooting their own fucking horn about winning the 10 out of the last 11, all that other bullshit. Well, guess what? Guess what it got you? An early out.
Yep.
I mean, regardless of the situation, it coming down to a fucking field goal. To me, there was a lot of questionable calls there. I hate fucking Chris. I fucking hate a lot of things in sports.
Yes, he does.
Chris Collinsworth. Who likes Chris Collinsworth? Who likes him? So raise your hand if you're like Chris Collinsworth.
I don't hate him.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck you for not fucking hating him. What, you have fucking Bengals socks on? Do you suck a big Chris Collinsworth dick at the end of every night?
No, all I know is the 49ers would always beat up on the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So,
Jesus Christ. It can't always be about the 49ers, Jason.
Motherfucker, you talk about the Eagles and Penn State for like 90% of every
because
episode.
I know things about them.
And I know things about the 49ers, goddammit.
Do you? But you don't know what the over-under is or what it means.
Whatever. Can we continue, please?
Anyway. I completely lost my train of thought, which ends up being a good thing.
Well, no, and you mentioned, like, this thing came down to the very fucking end. The Bears, what was it? The Bears were up, and then they got their 2-point conversion.
So Eagles went down, scored, tried for 2, which would, in that situation, would have put. First of all, they go down and score on a 4th down.
Yep.
Which was a great play.
Yeah, they had a couple of 4th down conversions on that drive too, didn't they?
No, I think that was the only one on that drive. But regardless, really that 3rd down play, like with the throw to Alshon, who it should have been caught, and then to come back on 4th down, scored a touchdown, an absolute must-have touchdown. 56 seconds left. You go for 2,
which is the right call. That's obviously
absolutely the right call. And then you run a very questionable play. Like all of us, it's not. One would think. I think I'm going to speak for all the Eagles fans that are represented within this fucking 4-foot square area here. That I think to a person, nobody expected the Philly, right?
Yeah.
So you see Nick Foles come out to the line, and it's kind of stationary there. They hike the ball on a direct snap to Smallwood. Or no, the Smallwood or Clement. Fuck, I can't remember. Thought it was Smallwood, but anyway. So the I get it. All right, we'll talk about that in a second. You see that? An edict has been issued, and he's obeying.
I like it.
By not saying, then you said. Anyway,
I'll give him a pass on that.
Fair enough. On that 2-point conversion, I truly believe he broke the plane. When you look at this, like, and they've said some dumb shit on the radio today, which they do. I fucking hate the radio because people are idiots. But even people that I think should know better, they're talking about the referees that are like along that line. That's their only job to watch that. If you look at the replay, when the running back was in the air to try and attempt to break the plane, the line judge on the away side was 2 yards off the ball. Like, he wasn't in the position to fucking see that play. And I don't know what the other referee was going, because they only showed that one angle, but they were not in position to make that call. So, and then now, since they don't make the call, I think if he's on that line, he basically gives them the benefit of seeing that extra stretch. If he's in the position, he wasn't in position to make the fucking call. So now they say it was no good. And the replay just wasn't strong enough to overturn the call on the field.
It's one of those situations where they don't have enough video evidence to overturn the play.
Now, did it cost them the game? Let's face it. We could send an entire show talking about the officiating this year in the NFL. And even in college, the officiating this year, for whatever reason, has been especially bad. I don't know anybody that can argue against it. So, yeah, okay, they didn't get the call, whatever. They still have the lead. And another thing that Eagles did wrong in that game in special teams was that fucking kick should have been out of the back of the end zone. That Elliott kickoff, to let it get to Cohen at all was a mistake. And it damn near cost them the game. Because that fucking that bit the fucking Eagles in the dick in 2013 against the Saints, when we let Darren fucking Sproles do the same shit. He brings it up past the fucking 50. They end up losing the goddamn game. Like, it's history repeats itself for shit like that. And so that kick, and Doug Peterson actually said it this morning in the interview, in a press conference this morning. He said that was a mistake. That kick was not supposed to go where, and that kick was supposed to be deep and not taken out.
So that was his instruction to the kicker.
Yes,
kick it deep, and the kicker just kind of
he missed
it.
Okay. He miskicked it. So then they drive down. They let Allen Robinson go free a couple too many times.
And there were a couple of big pass plays after that return.
As the clock's ticking down, and I think I texted you. No, it was fucking in Brinzer, my old DOV group, right? We're going back and forth and like, oh, that's ball game. The Bears are going to choke. I'm like, yeah, no, this game ain't over yet. And sure shit, I was right, because it went down to the wire, and next thing you know, the fucking icing the kicker thing.
So I have to talk about that. I have a story about that.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so Kristen and I are watching the game. And I'm like, oh, they're going to fucking try to ice the kicker. I don't know why they do that. It's so stupid. And she's like, what's icing the kicker? And I explained to her, well, they call timeout just as they're about to snap the ball, get him to kick once, then to try to get in his head, and then blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's stupid. It never works. I don't know why the fuck they do it. They immediately do that. He misses the fucking field goal. She's like, so like what they just did right there, that's the icing the kicker? I'm like, yes. So, so that's that. So what were you going to say?
What I was going to say is there's a great little Facebook thing out there right now that has that, that icing the kicker thing they do with the Panthers head coach. I can't think of names today, unfortunately. Panthers head coach. Anyway. Rivera. Yes. Thank you. So Rivera, like the icing the kicker, and they do the Pepsi opening thing. They overlay the kick from Parkey with Peterson on the sideline calling the timeout, and they overlay the whole thing. It's fucking perfect. It's great. Absolutely fucking perfect.
That's funny.
Yeah. Can we talk about? All right, Parkey misses it, and as it turns out this morning that the NFL ruled it a blocked kick because Hester on the Eagles line actually got a hand on it. And when you see it close up, you see his hand actually deflect back. And you see a change in rotation of ball. Like on the zoom in, it's pretty obvious. Like off the foot live, it just looked like a muff kick. But he got enough of his hand on it. Now, does it truly affect it that much? I think it does. I think it does, honestly.
I mean, from 43 yards away, I mean, it's going to affect it. Like any change in trajectory at that point. I agree. And we talk about killing Dave. Kick goes up. I'm watching it track to the left goalpost.
And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. They're like, is it gonna keep going? I'm like, no. And I watch it and it goes, and it clangs.
And you hear the dung.
And it comes down, but they don't pan down. They didn't like show it hit the bottom.
Yeah.
And then they pan back and you see the fucking ball and you see them waving like this. That's when I fucking just fell on the ground. I was just like, oh my God. That was it. I was done.
Yeah.
But and then fucking Johnny on the Spot Fox showing a good, 45-second montage of all of Parkey's misses, all the times that he hit the fucking goalpost this year. Just like, holy shit. I mean, literally, after it hits the goalpost like that, it is a really good chance, depending on the rotation, it could have went through the upright.
Oh, I've seen plenty of kicks that hit the goalpost and just dump right in, you know?
So it definitely had a chance.
And it was twice. Boom. Off the side, off the bottom.
Yep.
And either time it could have deflected back in. And fucking God was shining down on the Eagles last night.
So this is it's quite frankly, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing that this Eagles team that everybody, including myself, had counted out at some point this year.
Yeah.
To get to this point and like, okay, they still, regardless of the luck, regardless of like, hey, your special teams gets a hand on the ball and affects the play. Okay. You can say that with any play.
Yeah.
The defense stepped up, and managed this game. Defense stepped up big in this game. They really did. And I truly believe that we're seeing a different Eagles team, and I think the next game against the Saints is going to be, like I said, the spread right now is 8. I think it'll go down to 7. I don't know what the over under looks like. It's going to be a high scoring game.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's Dave's prediction.
And I think it's going to really come to the Eagles defense again. Can they step up again this week? Because that's going to make the difference.
They got to put pressure on. They got to force Breeze to make a mistake.
Yeah.
If they can go positive on the turnover ratio, then I think they can beat the Saints.
Yeah,
if they don't force Breeze to make a mistake or get the ball on the ground, then they're not going to win that game.
Yeah, they need to go back and watch the video of when the Cowboys played the Saints and just be like, do that.
Yeah. And especially in the Dome. They're at home in the Dome. But it's definitely not going to be the game that was earlier this season.
Yeah.
Not even it.
So for this next week, on Saturday, we've got the Colts going to the Chiefs. I really don't have a dog in that race, except my son, Ben, is a huge Chiefs fan, as we were talking about before the show.
Right.
So I would like to see the Chiefs win that. And we were talking about Andy Reid. I mean, I think most people who are reasonable football fans respect Andy Reid. I mean, he's a good guy, good coach, just he's never been able to win it. So, seeing him get farther, I think that'd be a good thing. I wouldn't hate that at all.
I agree.
Okay.
Well, I just got a whiff of beer for some reason after I opened my Diet Coke. It was weird. Maybe some subliminal thing.
Could be.
I want to see Big Red win. I'm not rooting for the Eagles this playoff season. I'm rooting for Andy Reid. I'd like to see him get one. I'd like to see him beat Belichick in a game that actually means something.
Yeah.
And ultimately win the Super Bowl. That'd be great. Yeah. Unless it's the Chiefs versus the Eagles.
And then obviously I'm
going to root for the Eagles.
But that'd be a hell of a story too.
God, yeah.
So then we've also got the Cowboys going to the Rams. So I will make no bones about it. I want the Rams to decimate the Cowboys. No doubt, because my 84-year-old grandfather, I think I've talked about this on the show before, is a big Rams fan. So I would love to see them win for him. Right. We'll do that after we do our predictions, and then we'll
fair enough.
And then we'll move into it. We have a special guest who's going to come on and give us his predictions.
He's on his way.
Yep. So he should be here in the studio soon. But no doubt about it. I want the Rams to fucking destroy the Cowboys for my grandfather and for everybody who hates the fucking Cowboys, like Scott Rasmussen.
And all the.
And I'm sure.
No, we're not talking NBA.
Yeah.
They're Bronco Fett.
And I'm sure we don't even have to ask you who you want to win that game.
Yeah. Listen. There's people out there there's two schools of thought if you're an Eagles fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we could somehow pull off some sort of victory against the Saints, right? And keep this magical run going. I mean, personally for me, I am satisfied. I'm satisfied we made the playoffs. I'm satisfied we won our wild card game.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
It was a good end of the season surge.
It absolutely was. And if I think the Saints are the better team, and I personally expect them to win. However, this Eagles team just does things right now, and it's pretty amazing to watch as an Eagles fan.
Even as not an Eagles fan, it's just a guy like me who's just like a passive observer. I think it's fucking phenomenal.
It's so much fun to watch, and the city is so awesome. It's something I didn't mention. I drove Kate back to school last night, and driving by the stadium, with it in Philly, all the buildings are lit up green, right? They got all the green LED stuff. So you drive by the stadium, they basically have all the jumbotrons and the in bowl like scoreboards and everything else. All of them were green.
Nice.
So the Lincoln Financial Field was just basically this big green glowing building, like and you're coming over to Walt Whitman Bridge and going and looking at it. It's just like this, just amazing, just like the amount of green, and the Wells Fargo Center next to it where the Flyers play, and the Sixers, and where Villanova plays some games. That's fully greened out.
Nice.
So it's just a really cool vibe. So, and listen, I'm an Eagles fan, so whatever. I say those things to say this. There's people out there that would rather us see our division rival in the NFC. I don't know that I want to see them. They've had our number this season.
Yeah.
And and all those things I said about being a different team and everything else, when you're playing a division rival, it's a completely different thing. Like you're playing on the level at that point, and you're going out and you're just punching each other in the mouth, and the best person is going to win. I still think that as much as God, Ezekiel Elliott, fucking Buckeye with a stupid fucking eating thing, whatever. God, I wish he had snapped his fucking ankle. But I don't want to see them. I'd rather see the Rams, a team that we've beaten already.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to play in LA, or we're going to play wherever. We're going to there's way more fans that we're going to put in the building in LA than we will in fucking Dallas.
Oh yeah.
So I don't want to see Dallas. I think the Rams can beat them. I think if Dallas wasn't playing Seattle under those conditions, I think Dallas loses that game. But it is what it is. They won.
Yeah.
So just like the Eagles won, it seems fluky. This kicker situation that happened this past week, they're going in LA. They're going to have more than a fucking kicker blowing out his 290-pound kicker blowing out his hammy to fucking guarantee them to win that game.
Yep.
So,
all right. And before we close out, we have a special guest who's going to give us his predictions for the 4 playoff games this weekend. So I think he just got here. Are you here?
Yeah, stand by.
Oh, okay. He's making his way in. Sorry.
I'm getting my makeup on.
It's a podcast, Hank. It's surprise special guest.
Well, yeah, you weren't supposed to say my name.
Oh, sorry. So welcome to the show. You haven't been on the sports podcast yet, have you?
No, I haven't, and I know why. Because you boys and your Cowboys hate. I don't like it. I don't like it. I almost turned around and left, but I needed to be able to say my piece.
Okay, so first of all, are you pretty upset about the Texans losing to the Colts?
No, I really don't care about the Texans.
Okay, fair enough.
They're not America's team.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay.
What?
All right, you're the guest. I'll give you.
Don't use the Lord's name in vain.
Okay, Hank. So, what do you think about the Colts and the Chiefs this weekend?
Well, the Colts having the horseshoe on their helmets and reminding me of horses in Texas. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Colts. Except for that Andrew Luck kid with his neck beard. That's a little too advanced for me. That boy needs a shave.
I do agree with you there, Hank. But so moving on, do I even need to ask you about the Cowboys and the Rams?
Why don't you save the Cowboys game for last?
All right. So how about the Chargers and the Patriots?
I don't like either one of those teams. So we'll go ahead and we'll pick the Patriots because Tom Brady's pretty good at home. So we're just going to have to go with that.
All right, go with the safe bet. I like it. What about the Philadelphia Eagles, who we've talked about a lot, going into New Orleans to play the Saints?
See, I don't like the Eagles just because of their wanting to come in and talk trash every time that they're playing the Cowboys, and they have a lot of bad things to say about us and me as a fan. But I'm going to go ahead and pick them as the underdogs.
Oh, okay. All right. I like it.
I think Drew Brees and Sean Payton, they're going to get figured out. So you heard it here. maybe second or third, but we're going to go ahead and pick the Eagles.
All right, fair enough. And the final game of the weekend, the Cowboys going to LA.
So listen, I know a few things about a few things. One of those things is propane. I know a few things about propane, and I know a few things about the Cowboys. And I'll tell you what, this Cowboys team is destined to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that the Cowboys beat the Rams. They beat the whoever else they need to beat to get to the Super Bowl, and they're going to go ahead and win that Super Bowl. And even though they just won their first playoff game since before, I don't know when Bobby was born, I guess. But we're all that's in the past, and if we win another Super Bowl, then we'll get to wave all of our rings in the Philadelphia Eagles fans' faces yet again.
All right, well, I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you this time, Hank, but thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Always like to get your inputs on things.
Yeah, thank you. And please, if you could stop all the cussing here so I can go ahead and enjoy this in the car without feeling like there's a gangster music playing in the background. I mean, I've never heard such language out of two gentle folk as yourselves.
Honestly, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So
see, that's what I'm talking about.
All right, well, Hank, you have a good night, and we will talk to you soon.
Damn it, Jason. I'm
just gonna Hank, everybody. Hank. Oh, and Dave's back. What's up, Dave?
I never see Hank and Dave in the same room.
I know, it's weird. But you don't wear glasses, so apparently I can't read very well.
Scott, the Gruden watch continues. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to be gone.
Oh, Scott actually wants the Cowboys to win. Sorry, Scott. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. Fuck the Cowboys. So, sorry.
Indeed.
Hank.
Fuck the Cowboys.
So, all right. With that, the John Gruden watch is still on. We're up to week 2 now of will he or won't he? I'm feeling pretty confident. If the Raiders were going to fire Gruden at this point, they would have done it.
What makes you think that?
All of the coaching the grass was still warm on Sunday last week when most of these fucking coaches got fired. So most teams do this right away.
What you're asking is Oakland to make a decision that would appear to be sound logically.
Okay,
this is good. Oakland we're talking about here.
True.
I mean, Oakland fans, can you
soon to be Las Vegas?
Yeah, back a brother up here. I mean, let's face it, they're not known for making good decisions.
Yeah.
So look, it can be fucking a week before preseason starts, and I still think that dude could fucking get fired.
Okay, I disagree.
I'll put it to you this way: if he makes it past the draft, then that's probably a reasonable. It's reasonable to think. You don't know where those have been.
You don't know where they've been.
Brady is the last Raiders fan, the very last, apparently.
Yes, he is. So I don't know. That $2 is
whatever.
I can feel it.
We'll see. We'll be talking about that all the way up until draft day.
Yeah, and I think we'll save the Virginia Tech story for next week because we are out of time. But thank you, everybody.
I blame Hank.
Yes, Hank, he talks slow, so what can you do? All right, so we will be back probably next week with the results of the division round of the NFL playoffs and with the results of tonight's college championships. And who the fuck knows what else?
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, we will see you guys later. And for those of you watching on YouTube, we will be back with the Star Wars podcast right after this. So, Dave, fuck off.
Oh, I had something for this. I forgot. Never mind.
Too late.